this section, this hour, it's going to be the journey from unworthy to whole, complete, and perfect. That's what we're going to be talking about. And before we dive into that, I just want to say thank you for tuning in, for being a part of this, for being a part of this community, this movement, and just leading with your heart, doing the best that you can every single day. And if there's anything I could do to support you, let me know. Connect with me on social media. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. It's great that I get up on this platform, so to speak, and I share with you and I inspire you and I encourage you and I interview incredible leaders and role models and people who are changing the world. And the greatest power, the greatest transformation I found in my life is when I started going to personal development events, getting connected in person with people, having real conversations, giving giant hugs. So I really encourage you to step up to that, not just with me and with becoming your greatest possible self, and everywhere in your life. Everywhere, okay? So here's the thing. How you can do that, how you can take those next steps. There's a couple different ways. Number one, if you want me to support you with coaching, mindset, helping you build your platform, get your message out to the world in a bigger way. I love doing it. After interviewing 600 amazing human beings on this platform, I've learned a thing or two about building brands and getting the message out. So I want to support you however I can. Let's have a conversation. And also, if you want to be a guest on an upcoming 12-hour marathon, maybe you're ready, maybe you're not. Either way, I want to support you in becoming the version who gets on this platform and shares your message with the world. So I love training people to prepare for interviews, and I love having guests on who have their message ready to go and ready to impact the world. Even if it's not 100% perfect yet, I'm here to support you and get that out to the world in a bigger way, okay? So contact me on social media, facebook.com/th3burns, Instagram at I am Millionaire Chris, and email chris@beyourgps.com. I look forward to hearing from you. I love you. You are the reason why I do this. And let's connect. Next up is the iTunes review of the week. This week, let's see who is by. It is by Jen Hudgens, and Jen says, love this podcast. This podcast is so motivating. I love the caliber of guests and the energy Chris brings to the show each and every time. Thanks so much, Jen. I appreciate you. If you want to give us a review, if you want to subscribe, if you want to stay tuned, get all the latest updates and all the greatness, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes. You can find us on the Apple Podcast Store, or just subscribe on whatever your favorite platform is for podcasts. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Stitcher. You can find us on Spotify. All these great places where you get your music. You can find us, okay? Good stuff. Now, I want to keep moving through this because this is an important conversation for me. Specifically, we're going to be diving into this journey that I've gone through and the distinctions that I've gotten, the level of mastery that I've achieved today. And of course, there's so much more room to grow. I'm 28 years old. I've already come a long way, and ages doesn't really have anything to do with it. And, I started my journey in personal development 7 years ago. Thankfully, I had a great foundation with my parents. And in the grand scope of things, holy moly, we're just getting started in this party, okay? Before we dive into that conversation specifically, today's theme is money is blank. Money is blank. And I really want to start off with this because it's so powerful. It's such a freaking charged topic. It's so prevalent in our society. It makes and breaks people's lives. It makes and breaks marriages. It makes and breaks whether someone has a fulfilling, prosperous, peaceful, happy, easy, fulfilling life, or whether they're constantly on the treadmill, in scarcity, in lack, in fear. And thankfully, we have the fucking, pardon my French, cutting edge of tools, of technology, of mindset techniques and strategies and coaching and seminars and workshops. And holy moly, what we have today to be able to transform anything that doesn't work for us in life. Wow. Hallelujah. What a time to freaking be alive. So I just want to presence us to this conversation, bring this conversation to our present awareness, put it in front of us, become aware, become present to the senses, the sensations, what comes up in our body. When I say money is, what comes up for you? I'm talking to you. I can talk up here all day long and have fun and entertain myself. It's a blast for me. And I do this for you and for me. And primarily, I really want to put the spotlight on you. And check in with yourself. How does this statement, money is, it's a question actually, how does this question, money is blank, how does that affect you? What comes up? What stories? What meaning? What emotions? Where do you feel it in your body? I'm super grateful because I went to a seminar a while back now, right, 3 or 4 years ago, and it was T. Harv Ecker's Millionaire Mind Intensive, Millionaire Mind Experience, and that's where I really got a hold of this type of thinking and this question, because until you are present to the beliefs that you have about money, your story about money, about abundance, about prosperity, about rich people, about wealth. What does it mean? Is it hard? Are wealthy people jerks and evil? Is money the root of struggle and hardship and conflict and divorce and heartbreak? Is that what comes up for you? Or do you have a conversation like money is great? Money is beautiful. Money is pure, potent energy to create my reality. It's fuel, baby. It is fuel to create the life of my dreams, to travel with the woman of my dreams. I'm going to paint a little picture of what money is for me and still reinforcing it. It's like it's always, every single moment is a new opportunity to discover where are our money beliefs, what has come up, what has been triggered, etc. But for me, it's like money is access to experiences, to up leveling, to upgrading my life, expanding my character, the items that I have. I love talking like life is a freaking game. The items, the power-ups, the armors, the equipments, the all the juicy trinkets and jewels and gems and things that amplify my being, my presence, my capacity. I love life. I love this game of life. So money is access to those things. Money makes it easy. Instead of having to trade, let's say, cows or trade bed frames or trade, cars for what I want, for groceries. I don't have to go trade my car for groceries. Instead of doing that, I can use money. Money is the exchange energy. It's energy. It's infinite, pure, powerful energy. And there's more than enough resources. We are in an abundant, infinitely abundant universe. And if there's anything that we need, we'll either find it and create it or imagine it into existence on this earth. And Earth is getting smaller and smaller every day, meaning that we're building on more land. There's more and more people. Our resources are being more accessed and utilized, which is great. And some people feel that we're running out. Some people feel that we're running out of fuel. We're running out of fossil fuels. We're running out of animals to consume. We're running out of plants. We're running out of fresh air. We're running out of clean water. And that's all lack, fear, scarcity, energy. And that is also linked to money. So I wanted to really bring in this conversation of being unworthy today in this solo round, because money is so linked to worthiness. It has been for me, may or may not have been for you. For me personally, money has been integrated so freaking deeply in my personal, spiritual, soul worthiness. And today, I'm grateful to recognize that no matter what I accomplish, how much, how great, how high I climb, what empires I build, thank you, how confident I am, how well-spoken I am, how many people I get to convert on a product or offer launch into the world. even with all of that success and the numbers and the impact and the quantifying things outside of me, it will never change, redefine, affect, or alter my soul and my soul's worthiness. My soul is infinitely worthy. My beingness is infinitely worthy. There's no price tag. There's no dollar per hour that effectively quantifies who I am and what I as a soul am worth. So I want to make that distinction first off. Money is a beautiful thing. And maybe you're not quite at that point where you feel money is beautiful, money is amazing, money is powerful, money is good, money is great, money is uplifting, money is empowering, money is love. Money is love. I love money and money loves me. I have a relationship with money, just like I have a relationship with this MacBook Pro, which I freaking love. Thank you, Apple, Steve Jobs, and all the beautiful, creative, brilliant minds that went into creating this. I bless you. Thank you. And with money, thank you to the treasury and to the world and to the merchants and to the creators and people who discovered and utilized money so that we could create this beautiful economy. Capitalism, so far as I know, it's working pretty dang well. There might be some, rough edges, but hey, that's life. There's always going to be room to grow and room to improve. And I'm really present to money as such a source of joy in my life. So I want to share a little bit more about my journey from unworthiness to being worthy, to being whole, complete, and perfect, because that didn't happen overnight. In my opinion, I am born a soul, a whole, complete, and perfect soul. And I die a whole, complete, and perfect soul. And in between the time of being born and dying, I am 100% a whole, complete, and perfect soul. That never changes. And any stories, anything that we pick up along the journey that says otherwise, it's total BS. It's total. It's a story. It's a layer of mud, of crap, of dirt, of nonsense that gets put on top of the perfect soul that we overlook what we have been endowed with, what we have been gifted, what we have been blessed with, what we have from birth. And so I really want to remind you today, like if you are not embodying this, and hey, I have room to grow. I think from now till the rest of my life, I will have contrast, I will have things that come up, life experiences that have me temporarily disconnect, forget that I am a whole, complete, and perfect soul. It's a process. It's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong experience and practice, so to speak. And for you in particular, I want you to give yourself permission. If you're at that place where you're ready to give yourself permission to be a whole, complete, and perfect soul, if you get this, if this is resonating with you, great. If it's not yet, if it seems a little bit of a stretch, if you're like, Chris, I don't know about this. I don't know if I can vibe with this. I don't know if the 1 + 2 + 3 = 6, if this makes sense in that reality, in my logical reality. If that's you, hey, hang on, stick with us, keep going on the journey. I'll do my best to meet you where you're at and share what I've learned and what I've experienced to paint the picture of how I see the world. And particularly for those of you who are ready or who just want to take that leap of faith into knowing, into being, into trusting, into surrendering in a positive way, not surrender like I give up, I'm done, I might as well die. That's not the surrender. The surrender is trust. The surrender is let go of trying to control everything and control what you can, control your emotions, control your thoughts, control your behaviors to the best of your ability. That's always a practice too. And give yourself permission to be a whole, complete, and perfect soul. So I want you to just sit with that. If you're able to, put your hands over your heart, take a deep breath in, and exhale. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Take another deep breath in. And exhale. And just softly, quietly, lovingly remind yourself, I am whole, complete, and perfect. I give myself permission to be whole, complete, and perfect. I trust myself to be whole, complete, and perfect. I am enough as I am, whole, complete, and perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is, and so be it. I like to say amen. Amen. So that's really just a blessing, whether you're spiritual, religious, whatever. Like you're communicating with your highest self, with your soul on that aspect. And also I want you to invite creating a deeper, more connected, more loving, more trusting, more faithful relationship with your soul, with your divine intelligence, divine intuition, divine worthiness. Invite that in. Say, show me, universe, God, source, creator, luck. Show me how to create a better connection with my soul. Show me how to tap into my intuition. Show me how to tap into my worthiness and remember. Show me how to remember. What would it be like to remember how worthy I am, how capable I am, how powerful I am? Okay. So with that, I freaking acknowledge you, because that is a huge step just in and of itself. And because you're listening or watching this right now, whether it's live or replay, number one, I love you. Thank you for tuning in. And number two, you are resonating with this message at some level. You may not completely agree with it. You might be like, heck yes, Chris, hallelujah. That might be you too. Wherever you're at, it's perfect. Stay tuned. Stay tuned in to you, to your heart, to your soul. What's your truth? Stay tapped in to all those beautiful sources. Your source, your God, your universe, your creator, your love. Stay tapped in. I want to remind you that I was not this human being that you see before me with all the skills, with all the effective communication, with all of the trust, with all the gratitude, with all the positivity, with all the high vibe energy. This was not me 7 years ago, or at least I didn't see it and I didn't believe that this was me. So I want to take you on this journey from unworthiness to whole, complete, and perfect, because you most likely had some stuff happen between the ages of 0 to 7 and even beyond that. But those are when those formative years, the energies that really get locked into you, your body, your being, your auric field. That's when a lot of those big things happen. So for me, things like getting lost in Sam's Club and not knowing where my parents are and feeling afraid that I got abandoned and left behind, or jumping off of a 2.5-foot stool during Christmas time and falling on a Christmas ornament when I'm like 6 years old and cutting open my hand and making it mean that the world is a dangerous place. I better be careful not to get hurt. Or getting locked in a a trunk, like a chest, a clothes trunk when I'm like 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there, by my sister and my cousin when they're at my house, when my cousin was over at our house, and getting locked in there and not being able to get out and being afraid for my life, being afraid that I would be stuck in this black abyss forever. It felt like an eternity, making that mean that I couldn't trust the people closest to me. The ones who love me hurt me the most. And I recognize now that, of course, I am loved. And of course, I don't need anything outside of me to validate that I am loved, that I belong, that I am worthy, that people want to have me around. I am enough as I am. So that was great contrast to remember that getting lost in Sam's Club. And when I fell on the ornament and cut my hand open and made it mean that the world is a dangerous, scary place, it was great contrast for me to remember what it's like to be safe, to feel protected, to feel supported, to feel peace, to feel trust, and to feel faith that everything is working out for my highest and best good. Because in those moments, let me tell you, I was a scared little kid, scared little boy. And when I got locked in the trunk, what great, beautiful contrast for me to remember what it's like to be free. Man, if you ever want to remind yourself of how much you value freedom, feel like you're trapped. Feel like you're a prisoner in your own mind or some kind of creation. Man, like I believe one of the core values of being a human being having this experience is the knowingness that we have free will. And whether you believe in free will or divine destiny, spiritual destiny, and everything kind of going to happen anyways, whether you like it or not, no matter what decisions you make, for me, free will is important. The illusion of free will, the choice that I create my reality, that's important to me. And so to remember how important freedom is to me, I had to feel like it was taken away from me. And the fear and the deep terror, like fear is not a even adequate word for this. Terror is what I felt. And to experience that and then recognize that that's just contrast, to remind me how much I value freedom, self-expression, adventure, going where I want, doing what I want. That's why I didn't do so well as far as being employed by employers, traditional 9 to 5, because that system, in my opinion, is outdated. It's broken. I value employees. I love that we have a support staff and team who works for us to be able to build this empire, make this dream a reality. But as far as for me, the cultures that I got involved in companies and enterprises, some of them had some great values, but oftentimes I felt like this isn't how it's supposed to be. This isn't the loving, empowering, growth-oriented, big mission, big world-changing mission type of business that I know I'm meant to be a part of. I always felt out of place. I always felt like that wasn't where I belonged. And there was an aspect of that in terms of unworthiness. There was an aspect of that where I didn't really love myself at the time, thankfully, because it helped me transition into entrepreneurship, network marketing, personal development, public speaking, sharing my story, doing the 12-hour marathon, being a coach. Like, thankfully, I didn't discover that stuff. I didn't discover a culture that I love to be a part of. I didn't feel worthy and like I loved myself during those times. So I'm grateful for all that experience. And I really value freedom. I really value being able to do what I want when I want. And of course, there's freedom in structure. There's freedom in discipline. If you just have pure anarchy, that doesn't work as well. So it's almost like so interesting. The contrast of being in that chest, being locked in there and being afraid for my life. And I would never get out and I would die in there. That was deeply, deeply traumatic experience. And even after getting out and saying, I'm free, but how free am I actually? Free in what constraints? Free in what context? Because in truth, I'm limited, quote unquote, to this body but I can have spiritual experiences that have me out of this body. I'm limited to this earth, but I can have spiritual experiences that bring me out of this earth, and higher dimensional experiences that I'm able to go to different places beyond just this earth. So I think that there's context, and even this business, this 12-hour marathon. In this 12-hour marathon, someone could say, Chris, you're a prisoner to this 12-hour marathon. You have to be here every week for 12 hours straight. That's a context. That's one way you can look at it. And I look at it as, this is my vehicle, this is my container, this is my context that I willingly created and step into every single week to be able to serve the world, to be able to inspire people, to be able to be my greatest possible self. So I want to invite you to recognize that you're always going to have that duality. You're always going to see both. On my journey from unworthiness to worthy, and I want to define those terms for you, because unworthiness is like lack of deserving. It's not whole, it's not complete, it's not perfect, it's broken, it's disempowering, it's constricting, small. Versus whole, complete, and perfect, it's big, it's expansive, it's empowering, it's flourishing, it's growing, it's like greatest possible self. That's worthiness. And for a long time, I didn't believe I deserved that. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't have an aspiration to do that. I just wanted to play video games and ride dirt bikes growing up. And then moving into high school, all I wanted to do was fit in, because I felt like I was never enough. And I numbed and avoided with partying and drinking and things like that. And that continued through high school, just really being dissatisfied and unhappy with myself, especially into college, the beginning of college, just not being a happy person, being miserable and complaining and wanting everyone and everything to leave me alone. Parents, get away from me. I don't love you. God, get away from me. I don't need you. I'm better than you. I'm bigger than you. I'm more powerful than you. These are the stories that I was telling myself, because deep down inside, I had created a story that I was unworthy, and I was super insecure and afraid of being not enough. I compared myself to my dad, this big, tall, 6'1" dude, tall for me, I'm 5'9", a big, tall guy with big muscles. And I always felt like a shrimpy, weak little kid next to him. And now I recognize it's just different. He just had different gifts than me. I have different gifts. I'm strong, I am resilient, I am tenacious, and I saw those qualities in my dad too. Being strong, being bold, being big, right? My dad was big in my mind. He was this big guy. And so I was afraid that I wouldn't be those things, because physically I looked different than my dad. And so I carried that through me with high school, and felt unattractive, ugly, all these kinds of things. And it was really difficult for me. And so I ended up, like I said, just surrounding myself with people who aren't good for me. They didn't see the greatness in me. They didn't bring that out of me. And so I want to really reflect into your life and shine the spotlight. What stories have you made up about your unworthiness? And if you have a paper, pen, or your phone notes, write this down. When did you feel like you were making up something that you're not enough? You're unworthy. The first step is being aware of it. Okay. So if you are not aware of it, if you're not writing this down, if you're not taking time to meditate and stuff on this, if you're not getting the results that you want in any area of life, you're not making the money you want, you don't have the man or the woman of your dreams, you're not in the house that you want, your business isn't growing how you want it to, you're not as healthy as you want, your health is challenging, disempowering, whatever it is for you, there's likely a block. I think we all have our blind spots and blocks and things that we don't yet have that we wish we had. Connection, relationship, true love with your parents, your family, whatever. Look back and investigate and ask yourself, where did this start? Where did I start feeling like I didn't belong? Where did I start feeling disconnected? Where did I start feeling unworthy, lack, limitation? And be willing to investigate your past so that you can create a new future. Because when you get clear on what's been holding you back, it's like the curtain is pulled away. It's like the thing that you've been dragging behind you, this 150-pound weight you've been dragging behind you, or 1,000-pound weight, or whatever, however much it weighs. You finally get to take it off your shoulders and set it down, because you say, wow, I don't have to carry that. I don't have to be burdened by that. I don't have to keep that story if it doesn't serve me anymore. Thank you for serving me up until now, for giving me the awareness, the contrast, the consciousness that is not who I am anymore. I made up that story. I lived with it for a decade or 2 or 3. But now I want to choose something else. I want to choose a different story. You know, that thing back then, you know, when I got locked in the trunk, I know why that happened to me. It was there to help me really value freedom, and to shape and guide me in my life, so that I created a life of freedom, of time freedom, of money freedom, of ease, of joy, of playfulness, of adventure. That's what I was supposed to create. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that contrast. I may not have liked getting locked in a trunk. It may not have been fun. It may have hurt. It may have sucked. It may have broken my heart. And I'm still thankful for it, because it led me to who I am today. Similarly, did you have events and things in your past that you might still be holding on to? Wounds, pain, shame, things you regret, people you hurt, people who hurt you, people who abused you, people who betrayed you, people who caused you suffering, caused you heartbreak, caused you emotional, physical, sexual, mental, financial pain. Am I bringing up anything? Is anything popping up? Because most likely we all got some stuff that we haven't yet dealt with, and it's perfect. We haven't yet transformed into fuel. We haven't yet healed. We haven't yet redefined the story to step into a whole new fucking being. Like, you get to step into a new version of yourself. Like, you want to talk about greatest possible self? If yesterday you weren't producing the results that you want, and today you say, man, I've really been holding on to that story for way too long. It's time to take it off my shoulders, set it down, and say, okay, that's what happened. What happened is X, Y, and Z. What happens is the person left me. What happened is I was abused. What happened is I messed up really, really, really big time, and I made it mean that I could never trust myself or anyone or be loved or be lovable or whatever again. I saw that was my story. I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to create a new meaning. So I got betrayed. Okay, great. That gave me awareness that there's people out there who aren't the greatest of intention. And now I get to choose to always surround myself with the best people, with pure intentions, with loving, grateful, abundant, high vibe people. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that awareness. Thank you for the contrast. Thank you that I carried that fucking burden for so long. Thank you. It sucked, but thank you. And when you can start to be grateful over those past experiences, with those past experiences, and start to redefine the meaning that it gives your life today. Here's another example. You know, I was betrayed. Whatever. I'm not saying me specifically, but I was betrayed in the past. And now I'm a stand for people who've been betrayed too. And I get to be a coach. I get to be a speaker. I get to write books. I get to travel all over the world and help people who've been betrayed to get over that and to move into a new chapter of their life. What a freaking gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The pain, the heartbreak, the sleepless nights, being on the streets, you know, whatever it is for you. Thank you for that. It sucked. It was terrible. I hated it every single moment. It was the worst pain of my entire life. And thank you. And thank you that it happened exactly as it did. I wouldn't change a thing. Would I do it again? Fuck no. Would I change it? No. Because it made me who I am today. When you can get to that place of acceptance, of accepting who you are, accepting what's happened, man, I accept that I am where I am today. I accept that I'm a 28-year-old and I haven't yet made $1 million. I accept that it took me 26 years to find the woman of my dreams. I accept that for 10 years of my life, I treated my parents like crap. I was rude. I was disrespectful. I was a pain in the ass. And I caused them suffering, and I worried them, and they were probably terrified of what my life might end up looking like if I kept on that path. I accept that that's who I was. I accept that sometimes I can be the self-righteous, prick who stands for what he believes in, and I piss people off because I'm such a powerful stand for greatest possible self. And I accept that sometimes I'm going to be wrong. And I accept that sometimes I'm going to take a low consciousness, judgmental, low vibe position without realizing it. I accept that that's a part of the journey. I accept that that's part of being my stand. I accept that there's going to be people who want to come after me when I get big, because that's just what some people do. They want to take other people out to be successful, to make a name for themselves. I accept that that's a part of my life. And you know what I create? I create people all around me who support me, who are there for me, who help me keep going even when I get knocked down. I have the most powerful, supportive, loving, amazing, and epic environment all around me. Okay, so I just want to give you some examples of how life can kind of kick you in the balls or the girl parts or wherever. And you're like down on your knees and you're like, why life? Why did you do this? Why did I attract this? Why did I create this? Why did I have to do this and go through this and grow through this and suffer like this? This sucks. My heart is broken. Well, I don't know why. You get to define that. You get to create that story, that reason, that journey. And there's nothing wrong with creating a new story. And it doesn't mean it's fake. And it doesn't mean it's pretend. And it doesn't mean it has less value because you get to redefine your story. No, no. You are the creator of your reality. You get to redefine at will. You are like a magician, a warrior, a wizard, not a warrior, but a wizard, a wizard, an alchemist. And you take what is and you turn it into what you desire. Every single human being has that power. Are you using it? Are you utilizing it actively? Are you responsible with your power? In some areas, you might be. You might be like, man, I was 60 pounds overweight, and now I'm crushing it in my fitness, running 5Ks and marathons and all this kind of epic stuff. Heck yeah. And then you look at your, love relationships and you feel like you're unworthy and not enough. And it's like, but I'm a magician over here with my fitness. What's going on with my relationships or my spirituality or my peace or my finances or my business? So that responsibility applies to every area of life. And it can be difficult to become aware of that at first. But know that you're worth it. Know that you have these powers within you. You have since birth, the power to create and shape your reality and redefine life as you want it to be. Unfortunately, we're not taught, or we weren't taught. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. Thank you. Thank you that I wasn't taught these powers, because now I can relate to the other people in the world who weren't taught either. If I was raised like on hardcore personal development, like I was Tony Robbins' son, maybe I'd have a different outlook. Not maybe. I'd have a different outlook. But I wouldn't be who I am today. And I wouldn't be able to connect with people how I connect. I wouldn't have the story that I have. And I love my story. I love my journey. And I am also constantly aware of when is my story, even the new ones that I just created, right? Like, I got locked in the trunk, and now I know that, I love freedom and I love self-expression, and that's all I want. That at some point might have limited me, because all I wanted, it's like, you swing from one side of the pendulum to the other. That was all I wanted. All I want is freedom. Screw structure. I don't need a job. I don't need structure. I don't need nothing. I don't need income. I'm just going to, live off couch surfing and do whatever the heck I want. Whatever it was. At some point, the new story even could have had negative consequences. There's always going to be positive and negative consequences. Let's say you are hardcore at the gym, right? You go 2 hours every single day. Do you think that might take away from some of the other time that you might be able to do things? Let's say you go hardcore and you're competing for a fitness competition. Do you think that might take away from your ability to build a business, to build relationships, to grow your spirituality? Of course. There's going to be pros. You get shredded, and you get to get on stage and like be super confident in your body. And there might be consequences. There might be health consequences. You might throw your digestion and body hormones out of whack because you were so hardcore towards this goal. There's always going to be pros and cons. So worthiness is super, super important for you to recognize. At a soul level, you're already worthy. But really for me, like I had to shape my stories in a new way that had me be empowered, that had me say, I'm proud of the life that I have. I accept what's happened. I'm grateful for what's happened. I'm grateful for my life as it is. And I'm grateful for what's coming in the future. But I wasn't always like this. And I just want to keep reiterating that. So wherever you're at, wherever you're on your journey and shaping and crafting your story, your hero's journey. Because like for me, I was the underdog, and I get to dig into, I'm blessed to dig into the hero's journey even more and find out what archetype I am and all that great stuff and what resonates and aligns the most with my branding. And just the journey that I've been on is so freaking powerful. So I want to encourage you wherever you're at, and always feel free to reach out to me, to connect with me on social media. I do my best to respond as quickly as possible on Instagram, DMs, Facebook Messenger, things like that. And for the people who might not get a response as quickly as you'd like, keep messaging me. That's the best way I notice, is someone who's consistent and they keep showing up. And I love being the guy who will keep continuously messaging guests who I want to get on the marathon. I'm proactive, I'm persistent, I'm tenacious, perseverant. I'll get no's and I'll say, great, can I follow up in 6 months? And then the person will say, sure, follow up in 6 months. Nobody's going to say, no, I'm never going to come on your show. It's just not the right fit for me. Keep attempting to build a relationship. And that's who I am. And I'm proud that that's the Christopher Burns that I'm being today and will continue to be. So are you worthy? I wanted to also dive into some more distinctions about worthiness as far as being skilled, because there's a difference between worthiness of your soul and worthiness of accomplishment and winning a race, right? I was just watching a documentary on Mr. Rogers, Won't You Be My Neighbor? It was good. It was great. I loved it. I was watching that, and at the very end, they said something about how people were blaming and judging Mr. Rogers for making kids feel entitled. Like he's one of the reasons why kids today feel like they don't have to do anything and they're automatically special. They automatically deserve a number one place trophy. And he said, like, what I really meant is that you are special without having to do something, without having to achieve something sensational. You don't have to go do something outside of yourself to be special, to be worthy. Your soul is inherently worthy. And I love this conversation. I didn't even know I was going to watch that movie till yesterday. And it's like perfectly aligned with this conversation. So to be able to win a race and deserve a first place medal, that takes a level of skill, of discipline, of performance, of practicing, of mastery. Mastery. You have to master the basics. Okay? You have to master those basics. You have to be the best freaking runner or whatever kind of race that is in the group of people. And there's body mechanics to that. There's mindset to that. There's confidence. There's like all these things that come into play. But a lot of people today think that they can get somewhere without first going through the process of developing the skills, of being worthy for the achievement. You hear about, you might have heard this quote before, the people, the public, the audience, the people in the world see successful people. They see Conor McGregor, winning fights. They see Jim Carrey getting some of the biggest roles in comedy movies and being hugely successful. They see Beyonce. They see Lady Gaga. They see different people. But they don't see the work that this person put in to get to where they are. And they don't factor that in. It can be easy to judge a book a celebrity based on the cover. It can be easy to say this person was an overnight sensation. They blew up because of one thing, one video, one viral video. Okay, but did you see the person spending 10, 15, 20 years making videos and content that didn't get crap traction before? Did you see that? Did you factor that in? Did you recognize and acknowledge that? Because that's mastering the basics. That's practice. That's discipline. That's consistency. And I want to give myself a freaking hallelujah, shout out, kudos, attaboy, good job, Christopher freaking Burns, the master powerhouse of live streaming and creating great content. And I always have more room to grow, of course. And I want to like sit in that, and I want to share that with you. I want to share that appreciation that I have for myself and how much time and energy that I put into my craft. These 12-hour marathons, marketing, promotion, business building, interviewing skills, communication, leadership, problem solving. Hey, what happens when someone's like has a challenge with some part of our processes or our structures or helping our marathon grow? What happens if someone has something come up? How do I handle that? How do I have a conversation about that? How do I communicate about that? How do I show up in a loving way and still perform when that happens? That's practice. And for a lot of these years that I've been coaching and being an entrepreneur, I've really been working on smaller deals in the grand scope of things, right? You see Grant Cardone today doing millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollar deals. You see certain billionaires doing billion-dollar deals. You see companies like Apple with hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. That was practice. They were working on their craft. They were mastering their stuff. And they are worthy to be bringing in an income of, it's $700 billion a year, something like that. They are worthy for that. Their skills and their time and their energy and their investment to be one of the best and to create a culture that is unlike any other and be world renowned, they are worth that. They deserve that. They deserve to charge what they charge for their computers. And so I really want to highlight, especially my audience who is building your business, building your coaching brand, your personal brand, your services, your products, your social media following. Number one, I bless you. I freaking bless the heck out of you for just starting, for being in the race, for being on the court, for being someone with the desire, wherever you're at, whatever level you're at. Maybe you just have this possibility that you get to be someone who makes a bigger impact in the world. You don't know what it looks like. You don't know how it's going to happen. Or maybe you're crystal clear and you know exactly what you stand for and you know exactly how you want to impact the world. I acknowledge you and I bless you and I say keep going. Stay in the journey. Stay in the race. Stay in the experience. Stay in the experience and journey is really, in my opinion, the best way to describe it. And if you're not getting what you want yet, if you're not creating the reality of your dreams, if you feel blocked, stuck, overwhelmed, know that there are certain skills you get to develop, disciplines, perspective, wisdom. You really get to develop the wisdom through experience to create whatever reality you want, whether that's in your health, whether that's in your spirituality, whether that is in your finances, relationships. Skill-wise, there's a complete difference between your soul being infinitely worthy, whole, complete, and perfect soul, and execution on a vision, on a goal, on a strategy, on building and creating something in reality. That may not be whole, complete, and perfect. It might be whole, complete, and perfect on one sense, but also flawed in another. You might have flaws, quote unquote, in your sales process. You might have flaws in how you communicate and handle disagreements in your relationships, in your team, in your business. There might be a flawed approach when contrasted and compared with what's possible. Let's say you get on strategy sessions and sales calls, and you convert 1 out of every 5, 20% conversion. You might say, hallelujah, that's amazing. Or you also might say, that's terrible. I want 2 out of 5. I want 3 out of 5. I want 5 out of 5. Okay? In that aspect, there is a flaw in your process. There's a flaw in your creation. There's a flaw in your execution. And I don't know if setting a target of 100% conversion, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't think that that's a intelligent, resourceful target, since you don't want every sales conversation that you get into to convert, because there's going to be people who you just don't vibe with and shouldn't be your clients. But that's a skill. It's a skill to raise your percentage of conversion. It's a skill to write a book. How effectively do you write and execute on your vision of a book? There's going to be flaws. There's going to be typos. There's going to be stuff that you didn't do that you find out later about launching and promoting the book. That's okay. There's going to be flaws. There's going to be some bumps and bruises. And is it your soul is whole, complete, and perfect? The book may have some flaws and errors and things that didn't happen exactly how you wanted it to. And as things unfold, you can just say, I totally accept how everything unfolds perfectly. I accept how it unfolded. I accept how it happens. I know I'm doing my best. I trust in myself. I am whole, complete, and perfect in my soul. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be failures. There's going to be breakdowns. I accept that, and it's all perfect. Everything is unfolding perfectly for our highest and best good. There's going to be imperfections. There's going to be flaws. And you can also focus on everything working out perfectly. It's a little bit of a mind twister and challenge, depending on where you're at. And you really get to recognize both sides of it. You get to recognize both dimensions and how things are both perfect and unfolding perfectly, and the book launched in the perfect way that it was supposed to. And then also the imperfections, the flaws, the things that didn't go quite as planned. There's always both. You can always find both. But the question is, which do you focus on? So I want to wrap this conversation up of unworthiness to worthiness, because in truth, there's still some things in energy that I'm bringing forth about being unworthy. It's true. Like the thought process I have, sometimes I feel like I'm not enough. I have self-doubt. I have criticism. I have insecurities. The unworthiness still pops in. And what do I focus on? What do I choose to primarily direct my energy into? And for me, it's been a journey of just being grateful and really being able to say, my soul is perfect, whole, and complete. I'm on this journey. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm going to be making mistakes. It's okay. I'll strive for perfection. I'll strive for the best. And at the end of the day, as long as I show up, as long as I do my best, as long as I'm keeping things moving forward and receiving the wisdom that life is attempting to show and give to me and deliver to me, then I'm doing my best. So I want you to remember that. And remember that you are whole, complete, and perfect as a soul. And you really get to step into raising your standards for your life. What do you accept? What do you tolerate? Oftentimes I think we're tolerating a lot more stuff than we should. So raise your standards. Remember that you deserve it. You're worthy. And this journey is perfect. I love you. Thank you so much for tuning into this conversation. And if there's anything specifically that stood out for you about this, that really made a difference, that rocked your house, that truly hit home for you, would love to hear what those biggest takeaways are. And tag me on Instagram or Facebook, facebook.com/th3burns, Instagram @IamMillionaireChris. Would love to hear what your biggest takeaways were and the value that you got from this. Because this is a conversation super, super close to home for me. And it's been a tough journey. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm grateful for every part of it. And just know I'm here to support you. Stay tuned in to these epic episodes of Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. I'm proud of what I do. I'm proud of the guests that I bring on. I'm proud of you for staying tuned. I'm proud of the engagement that I get, the screenshots, the comments, the likes, the shares, all of it. I'm super proud of what we're creating here, this movement. And thank you for being a part of it. I love you.